Article 4, Player Management. Section 1, Contracts, Salaries, and Player Extensions. A franchise may keep and acquire players from season to season via draft, contract extension, trade, waiver wire, or free agency. B. Rookies are given contracts based on where they were drafted in our draft. Round 1, 4-year contract with a 5th-year option. Rounds 2 through 4, 2+ years. Rounds 5 and 6, or undrafted, 1+ year. C. Veterans, which are players with at least 1 full year of NFL experience, can be signed to contracts for up to 6 years. D. All contracts must be finalized prior to week 1 of the regular season. E. Players that fail to sign before the deadline will become free agents unless they are franchise tagged. F. A player must be under contract before he is added to a starting lineup. G. Every veteran player's base salary will be analyzed and adjusted yearly based on previous year's stats, which is the player performance tier, or PPT. This will not affect players on signed contracts. H. Rookies will be placed on rookie contracts immediately following our rookie draft. Rookie salaries are as follows. Round 1, $5 million plus a $5 million loyalty signing bonus if you decide to exercise this 5th-year option. Rounds 2 through 4, $4 million. Rounds 5 through 6, $3 million. J. A GM may extend a veteran contract 4 years max before the player's last 2 years of his contract expires. A veteran player in his final contract year cannot be extended. A player's contract can be no more than 6 years max. K. When extending a veteran's contract, his current salary will increase by a mandatory 25%. So you're wanting to extend a veteran's contract, you can add 25% onto that, and that will be his new salary. Then you will add the contract years you want from 1 to 6. L. A player on a rookie contract may not be extended until the last year of his rookie contract. He will then become a veteran and will be contracted and paid as such. So after his rookie contract, he's a veteran, so he's going to get paid like any other free agent. When extending a rookie's contract, his PPT, his base salary will be used with no 25% increase. Pretty simple. N. Extending a rookie's contract automatically promotes them to the active roster. So you have somebody on the taxi squad and you want to extend their contract, you have to pull them off the taxi squad. O. It's every GM's responsibility to ensure the commish gets your franchise numbers correct. After everything you do, please check it and make sure if there's something you don't like about it, let us know. Most everything we can reverse. Section 2, Contract Amnesty Buyout. This is something I put in it's for new owners, but I'm letting everybody take advantage of it. A GM who pays the league fee in full, $100, before the first league transaction period, which will be Feeding Frenzy, will be eligible to receive a contract buyout. B. When a GM exercises a contract buyout, any fees associated with dropping that player are waived. C. Buyouts can be traded and banked without limit. So what a contract amnesty buyout is, if you take over a team and they have a 6-year contract on somebody that is no longer very good, they just made a bad decision, then you can take that player and drop him at no charge. You won't be charged a 10% drop fee per year for that player. So essentially, it's awarding people for paying their money on time. I've been trying to figure out something to do that. I want to give back. If you're willing to give up your money and let us hold it for the year, that's great. That way we don't have to come looking for you. Harley's been gracious enough to do the cash apps now, so I think we can give back a little bit. And you might make a mistake. I might make a mistake on my team, and put somebody on a 6-year, and then they flop, and then I'm stuck with them. So I'm going to use that contract buyout and drop the dude and just cut my losses. So that's kind of what that's for. D. When a player is bought out, he is immediately dropped and becomes a free agent and his salary is restored to PPT-based salary. So you've had him on a contract for $25 million for 6 years. As soon as you drop him, he goes back. Maybe he hasn't been that good last year. Maybe it dropped down to $10 million. He's going to go back to that $10 million. E, new franchise GMs will be given one additional buyout upon initial league payment. 2 total if paid in full before feeding frenzy. So just like I said earlier, initially it was made for the new franchises. Hope we don't have to ever use those, but hey, I know things happen. People have to drop for whatever reason from the league. That'll just be a free one just in case they get somebody on their team. They're like, man, I really wish I didn't have that guy. You can drop him, no penalty. F, amnesties can only be used in the off season. So essentially you can't use it during the season. Get them used up or bank them forever. It doesn't matter. Section 3, franchise tags. A, during the offseason, a GM may choose to retain one current season free agent by using the franchise tag. So if I made a mistake and I didn't get somebody on contract before the time frame was up to do that, I may lose him. Now I have the opportunity to franchise tag this player. I'll read on. B, the commish must be notified of all franchise tag recipients by all GMs before feeding frenzy. C, the commish will post all recipients of the league's franchise tag players. D, to qualify for the franchise tag, the player must have been on the GM's roster during the season just completed, and the player's contract will expire before the upcoming season. So just what I said. The player's going to be a free agent on your team. You don't want to lose him. You made a mistake, didn't get him signed in time. This is your opportunity to keep him for at least 1 year. E, when a team franchise tags a player, the team will pay the average of the top 5 salaries for that position or 120% of that player's current salary, whichever is higher. F, a player may be tagged a max of 3 times. G, a tagged player may negotiate with other owners. H, if an offer is reached, the original owner will receive 2 number 1 draft picks. So this is pretty important to decide who you want to tag. It's a player you don't want to lose. You've made a mistake, and at all costs, you don't want to lose this guy. He's maybe your most important player. And only thing you would give up nothing to get him, but you would take 2 draft picks or 2 first rounds. That's pretty important. So think about this. Tagged players may not be traded. You tagged them. You said they're yours. You don't want to get rid of them. Makes no sense to trade the guy. Section 4, rookie draft. A, the rookie draft will take place after the NFL draft. I'll have to name a day later. B, the draft order is determined by the inverse final standings of the previous year, excluding traded future picks. We are allowed to trade future picks. Just because you finished last doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the first pick if you traded that pick away or somebody else had. C, the draft is mandatory and will consist of 6 rounds. You got to either be there or be on a computer or a phone and take part in the draft. D, offensive and defensive players may be taken in the rookie draft. Finally got IDP. E, since the salary cap will be sought at the time of the draft and roster sizes will be temporarily increased, all drafted players may fill remaining slots on taxi squad or active rosters. Rosters will be cut down to 44 players max before week 1, and that excludes your IR slots of 10 slots. F, a GM must make their own demotions. I'm not going to make decisions for you. It's not my thing. I don't want to get into that. This is your team. I want you to make all your decisions. Section 5, free agent feeding frenzy. This is a 2-week period in which free agents can be bid upon and received by all GMs. So the first week is what I'm calling the proposal week. This is, you will look at everybody who's free agents you want. You'll send them a request, and that's all that will happen. You won't receive anybody that first week. Week 2 is the acceptance week. So all owners have essentially a week to decide if they want to match the offers given to them by other owners for those proposed players. B, during proposal week, all eligible free agents currently on teams can be bid upon by any GM. C, bids must be between 101 and 125% of that player's PPT. So whatever salary it is at the time of feeding frenzy, your offer must be at least 1% more up to 25% more than that offer. D, ties on bids will be broken by offering the player a signing bonus. Signing bonus is a one-time fee paid immediately and is unlimited. Be careful with this. The GM must be able to maintain a competitive roster. Failure to do so will result in the cancellation of that transaction, and if applicable, will result in the second highest bidder receiving the player for the amount he bid, and the same if he cannot maintain a competitive team, and so on and so forth, till either a transaction for that player can be made or there are no qualified offers. Essentially, don't get stupid with your signing bonus. Yes, it is up to you, and it is unlimited, but you have to be sure you can pay everybody else. E, the winning bid, and which I'm going to give an example, and it'll be bid 1, will be the highest total combination of salary, contract years, and signing bonus. So, for example, if a player's current PPT, so his current salary is $25 million, owner 1 bids $30 million, which is 120% times 4 years. So essentially saying I'll give him a contract worth $30 million a year for 4 years, and I'll give him a $10 million signing bonus. If you do the math on that, that ends up being a total of $130 million for 4 years. Okay, the next owner says he wants to bid $31.25 million, which is the full 125%, but he's only offering a 2-year contract, but he's offering a $20 million signing bonus. So if you do the math on that, that comes up to $87.5 million total. So obviously bid 1 being $130 million versus $87.5 million would win that player. F, if a GM does not get any qualifying offers for a player or a bidder defaults, the GM may re-sign that player with expiring contract, but will do so at the player's PPT or 120%, whichever is higher. Section 6, trading. A, trading is allowed from the day the league opens to the trade deadline in week 11. B, trading of draft picks is allowed up to 3 years into the future. C, the commish reserve the right to ask the GM to make a deposit on a future season if the GM is trading most of his future picks away. This is to protect the integrity of the league, and the commish will use their best judgment to protect the league. D, GMs are responsible for responding to trade offers in a timely manner. The website default is set to 7 days. E, conditional draft picks are acceptable and must be agreed upon by both parties. Commish must be aware of details so the future draft picks can be locked. So you want to make a deal with a guy for a wide receiver, and you think that he won't make it to 1,000 yards. You say part of the agreement is if this guy doesn't make it to 1,000 yards, you get a second round pick. If he makes 1,000 yards, you get a first round pick. Harley and I need to know this so that we can lock your first and second round picks, so that depending on what happens with that receiver, we can take care of business. Section 7, retirements or player death. A, when a player retires or dies, he can be dropped without penalty. B, if a player comes out of retirement, his original franchise has a 7-day period to re-sign him at his most recent salary. C, if a player comes back to life after dying, get on your knees and praise his holy name. Thanks.